So Anthony, thank you
Yep.
for doing the Vineyard with me. Appreciate it.
Yep.
For your time.
Fuck with this real quick.
Fuck with it, yeah.
Yeah, of
Good,
course.
good.
This is awesome.
Thank you
Awesome.
for letting me into your house and doing this. So can we start by talking about the Growlers a little bit? Would that be all right? Okay, cool. So how did you get into that? What was the beginning point for you in that band?
Well, I grew up in Costa Mesa, California, and I started playing music when I was super young, and I'm one of my girlfriends, ex-girlfriend now, but she's still a really good friend of mine.
You want to give out the name?
Yeah, her name's Sophie Molinari, and she fucking...
Shout out to Sophie, thank you.
Yeah, Austin, Texas. She fucking... I remember, like, I think I was like 15 years old, and she showed me Growlers, like the greatest shits had just come out.
2006.
And I was like, anytime your girlfriend, especially when you're younger, shows you a band, you're like, fuck this band, you know, just like... Actually, it's funny, Alex knows he has this awesome, one of the best lyrics in a Tomorrow's Tulip song. It's like, show me your favorite record so I can tell you that it sucks. And it's like fucking so true. Like, I just hated it on him at first just because I was like, she showed me him. And she showed me all the rad shit I listened to. I mean, we enjoyed the Cramps together, but she showed me, like, she got me into, like, bands I had known, but never, like, Violent Femmes. She got me super into the Cramps. I'd actually seen the Cramps prior, but...
With Lux Interior?
Yeah, with Lux, right before he died. Yeah, I saw him at the Hoot Nanny.
What year was that?
This is in 2003, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how old were you then?
I was...
13?
I was, 13 years old.
Dang. Okay. Did she have, like, one of the original pressings of, like, the CD, The Greatest Shits?
She did, in fact. Because back in the day when she showed me this, she actually, her and her little group of friends, they were called, like, the fucking Cell Sliders. It's gonna be so embarrassed if they ever hear this fucking thing, because it's like...
No one listens to this.
Well,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to talk a bunch of shit on here.
Sharon?
They used to go over to the Growler studio.
In Costa Mesa?
Yeah, in Costa Mesa, the one on the one where they took the record cover for Are You In or Out?
Yeah.
That's that spot. A lot of videos were done there. So that warehouse, her and her friends used to go there. Actually, they're in an old Growlers video that's called
Something Junior, is that what it was?
Swallowed Whole.
Swallowed Whole.
Yeah, Swallowed Whole, I
Okay.
think, because there's like a zombie party kind of thing, and they're in that. But funny enough, my friend Tommy lived at that same warehouse. He moved in with them, and so this guy Tommy I met through Sophie at a Growler show. Funny enough, and the Muslims and Japanese Motors and who the fuck was the other band? There's one more band, I think. My buddy who I went to high school with, Levi Prairie, Gantez Warrior, and I met this dude.
Gantez Warrior? That's a sick name.
Yeah, and so I met this dude Tommy, and he was just like this little punk, like, kind of, like super super nice. I mean, he came up to me like we had known each other for years. Some people get like kind of like intimidated by people like that, or like kind of like, what the fuck is this dude? But I was like, oh cool, this dude's like super nice to me, and like showed me, and he also showed me a lot of rad stuff, art, and we ended up playing together. Our first show was at my ex-girlfriend Sophie's birthday party, and we were in a band called Jungle Peeps, and we used to practice every day playing terrible, songs, like, because we sucked at playing music back then, at the Growler studio, and Brooks was there most of the time, and he put up with so much shit noise.
Was that when he was living there?
Yeah. This is. I mean, once I joined, we all lived together up until 2014 when the fire happened. But
that was from a firework, right?
Yeah, that was from a firework.
Oof.
And so
was it in the garage or how did it?
Yeah. Our friend Hanky lit off a firework and it hit like the roof of the opened garage and went. That day that the fire happened, actually, me and Brooks had just cleaned the garage. It was so messy, and we just cleaned it, and we put all the shit in one spot, and basically the firework landed where that one spot was. And I even remember hearing my friend Kyle Straka go, fucking, you better check on that firework. Like, those two, Buddy Hanky and Kyle, are the biggest pyros, and I never heard him ever say, check on that firework. And of course he didn't, though, because, it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? You never say that. And then all of a sudden, like, fucking not even, like, maybe a couple minutes, I'm in the bus. Like, I just got back from Europe. I stayed there longer, and, like, me and my ex-girlfriend were just sleeping.
In the bus?
Yeah.
Was it the California?
Yeah, that one.
Teen church choir. Yeah.
And so, and then all of a sudden I see these huge fucking flames coming out of the building, and the whole thing just fucking went kaput right there, and the city, like, oh my god, first out there, they closed down all of Placentia, even though we didn't even live on the street technically at this new warehouse. We lived up an alley, and they're so trigger happy, and they're bored, that they closed down the whole street, sent 40 fucking, like, vehicles of, like, firemen and fucking cops and, ambulances and fucking funny. I was in the bus, and, like, I knew that shit was illegal to live in that, and so... And
you were living in the bus?
Yeah, and so I knew it was illegal, and so I was like, shit, well, I gotta, like, I know that as soon as the fire happened, our buddy is on the fucking phone, calls the fire guy, and he's like, oh, he's from Texas, and he's like, our garage is burned down, and they're like, okay, okay, where are you? He's like, we're 2025 Placentia Avenue, and yeah, and then, like, by the way, mind you, we're going to the shower, which is like a good 100 feet away from this fire, grabbing buckets of water and coming to throw them on this fucking huge fire, and Brooks was out getting sushi. And I wake up and see these flames. I'm like, holy shit, the fucking house is on fire. And I get out and I immediately try to, like, water, get it. And he's on the phone. And actually, for a split second, we get this fire out. And he's like, oh, wait, we're like, no, it's good. Don't have him come. He's like, oh, no, we're good. And then all of a sudden, boom, like a backdraft. There's an explosion of the electrical, all the electrical blew up. And, like, my bus was hooked up to that specific line. And he's like, oh, wait, no, we need you to come. And we're like, fuck. Like, shit, everyone, like, I'm like, fuck, I can't, like, I gotta hide that I live in this bus. So I grabbed the extension cable that was plugged into it, throw it on top of the bus, it's sparking, and then fucking my buddy Hanky goes to, like, try and kind of put it out, because all of the old Growlers, like, merch, all of the history of the band essentially is fucking melting because it's in plastic. And he went to push it and he's got melted plastic all over his hand. Ooh. He's the one that started the fire. And then they're already fucking there. Like, they got there so quick. There was a fire station literally really right next door, though.
Keep on your toes.
So I was hiding in the bus, though. But so our friend Clark, who's this guy from Texas on the phone, was like, he didn't know I was still in the bus hiding. He's like, where's Anthony? Where's Christina? Oh my god, are they dead? Like, are they in there still? And they're like, no, dude, he's in the bus. Like, shut the fuck up. And he's like, what? He's where? Like, he's in there? Like, no, dude. And, like, I was, like, watching this all go by. Firemen are on top of the roof hacking the fucking whole place down. They're just like, oh my god, I see him absolutely dousing my fucking Marshall half cab for fucking just, like, it's actually my full speaker cabinet and then my head. And, like, it's from 1980. My uncle gave it to me. It's the first amp I ever got. And they're just fucking roasting that thing with water. And then, because it was on fire. And then my fucking, my Sun concert bass, like, 1972 bass head and my custom Ampeg cabinet is just fucking on fire and getting fucking doused with water. And it's funny because that Sun head had actually just caught on fire twice on the tour prior. The first Beach Goth, our friend Brad Coleman came up on stage, fucking blew fairy dust, and I'm like,
wait, which Beach Goth?
The first one, he blew some dust. Ooh. It gets inside the fucking amp, and because it was so hot, like, all the capacitors and stuff, it fucking caught fire on stage. I don't know if anyone saw that at the first Beach Goth, but my head caught on fire.
Was this inside the
inside
the main room?
Yeah, and then on that same tour, like a couple weeks prior, I didn't know about like proper like resistance for amps of like if you have a head and it's a 4 ohm head, you need to match the impedance like for the electrical resistance. I'm not going to get into that, but basically I didn't know about it. And I was running 2 cabs because fucking Scott Montoya tried to like do an experiment and fucked it up. So I needed an extra cabinet to make it louder.
Was Scott there when it was burning? Or
yeah,
was
yeah,
he, oh,
yeah,
he was there too?
And so the head caught on fire then because it blew up. I didn't know about that shit. But anyway, so the fire, they come, do all this shit. Brooks gets there. He's like, what the fuck is going on? Oh my, the house is burned down. Okay. Did anyone grab the fire extinguisher that was right next to where the fire was? No, we didn't even know we had one. Fucking, the fire extinguisher was right there the whole time. And fucking, all my amp, and I still have that Marshall. It's right there actually. And it still kind of works. I've been working on it for years since the fire, and that was December of 2013. It's behind that painting, that flower, yeah. That thing, yeah, you can move that, and that you can see those burn marks on it.
Got some story to it.
Yeah,
visually.
And then the cabinet is right there, and the cabinet works perfect behind the fan. And
because Scott has a lot of that stuff too, huh? That was in the fire that he kind of salvaged.
Yeah,
right?
He has a lot of this stuff, and so yeah, that was with the fire, and so but how I came about getting in the band was
back to that.
Played with this dude Tommy, started Tremors, practicing at the place all the time. I become really good buddies with all the dudes, especially Matt and Brooks and Scott, and then Kyle joined the band. He wasn't in the band when I first met them, and then once he joined, I became good friends with him.
Did he join the same time that you did? Like
I joined like a year after him, I think.
Oh, okay. So he was there 2011?
2010.
2010.
Yeah. And then so like I'm like now I'm surfing with them. I'm hanging out with them all the time. I'm playing with Tomorrow's Tulips as well now, and we got asked to do a tour with the Growlers, and Warren was starting to do the Abigails, and he didn't have anyone to play with him though. He was just gonna fucking figure it out as he goes. Because it's like really easy country songs. And then, so this dude who was filling in on bass after Scott went to drums for like just a couple shows with the Growlers, he was playing bass with Warren and not doing a great job. And I was like, what? Like, it's country. It's super easy. I had never really played bass in a band, but I was like, I told this girl Ellie, who was the only permanent member at that time that was playing in the Abigails, and she knew how to play the songs. I'm like, if you write down the chords, I can play like the bass lines, and doon 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 doon. And then so I did that, and like Matt and Brooks and Scott and Kyle, they were all like, whoa! Like when they saw me playing with them, they're like, whoa! How do you fucking? It was like mind blowing to them. Like, how do he just never heard the songs before? How's he playing? Like, cause they didn't come into it with like as like musicians. They like started playing because they like wanted to play at a party, and that's like pretty much what I did. But like, I'm like very like scientific with everything I do. Like no matter everything I get into, I get really into it. Study everything I can about it. It's like I have like an obsessive compulsive, like total disorder. That's why I clean all the time and fucking. But anyway, so like I played that, and then they were really impressed with it. And since Scott went to drums and they had a temporary guy, they were like, after that tour, Brooks called me over to the studio and he's like, do you want to play with us? Like, cause I've always been like we've always been good friends, like I've been into your style of playing, and I want a guitar player playing bass since make it really drivey. And from that point, like the Growlers, like we kind of got our own sound after that, and that's how I joined.
That's awesome.
So I knew him, like I said, since I was like 15, 16, with my girlfriend at the time showing me them. So and she hung out with them, and so I'd go over there, hang out, met the dude Tommy, then became really good friends, and they liked me, and so. Was
that feeling mutual? Did you like them as well?
Oh yeah, Growlers before I joined. Oh dude, they were fucking. Not only were they my best friends, I thought they were one of the best bands I've ever heard in my life. Straight up. I mean, I understand why people like obsess over them.
Right.
You know, it's like
those fucking freaks out there.
Yeah.
Including me.
You know,
yeah.
I was a huge Growlers fan, you know, like before I joined the band. That's why I was so stoked to do it. I mean, I always knew I was like I always had, when I first met them, I always knew I always saw myself like playing with them in some facet. I just could never figure it out because I was like, well, they're so perfect, but like I always got along so well with the guys that like, and I could tell that there were certain older members that they weren't really vibing. Back in the day, they used to have like other guys that like no one even knows about that used to play in the band, you know,
like that guy who played keys. What was his name?
Miles.
Yeah, Miles.
Oh, there's even Jordan. Jordan,
yeah,
he's a fucking awesome character. He lived there when I first met them.
What did he play? Is this thing still going, right?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, still going.
Sorry to throw out the rhythm. So go ahead, Jordan. Yeah,
Jordan. He's a motherfucking crazy ass dude.
What did he play? What was his?
He played guitar and keys. So before Kyle Straka joined the band, they had.
And then this is pre. I just mentioned his name.
Brian.
No,
Miles.
Yeah,
this is after Miles.
After Miles.
Miles quit because he was having a baby.
Yeah.
And then so Jordan's a crazy like scientist genius, like when it comes to music, insane guitar player, one of the best surf guitarists I've ever heard. I put him up there with Dick Dale.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dick Dale's son.
And he's a little loony case though. But he was in this awesome band called the Zookeepers, and he was living there, and he's just got a far out lifestyle, and you know, like he's so far out that it's like. It's you know, he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
And so
have you seen him since?
I have not seen him since. I've seen him one time actually, and I heard he was living in a bush. He told me that. That's how far.
Oh, you heard it from him, the source.
Yeah. It's like with him, you never know who you get, and you don't know who you know. But he's an awesome guy. I really do like him, and
that's cool.
Yeah, and so he played it, you know. So I saw with all these guys, I'm like, okay, why do they keep going through all these members, you know? And I'm like I told him even jokingly a couple times, I'm like, dude, I'll play with you guys. I was so much younger than them though that it just didn't seem realistic in that sense.
Yeah, what was the age difference?
I mean, when I joined the band, I was 19 years old. I had a fake ID for like a good while when I was playing with the Growlers. I had to use it to get into the show.
And Alex's bar pretty heavy on the IDs,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah, exactly. I actually used it at Alex's bar when we played there quite a few times, believe it or not. But
that place seems really cool too.
They are like, let's see, Scott was, he was about to turn 30, and that was 19? Fucking mind blowing to me. I was like 30. Holy shit, dude, he's old. I'm gonna be 30 very soon here, and like, fuck, like that's gnarly.
And then like Brooks and Matt were in between. Brooks
is 29, Matt's 28, and Kyle's 27.
Ooh.
So they go in order, and then I was 19. You know, so it was like, oh shit, you know. I like, for instance, right now, let's see, I am about to turn 27 in a couple weeks. I was Brooks's age when I first met him, and he was 26. Actually, he might have been 24. He was 24 actually. Fuck, which is crazy because he seems so old to me. And I told him when I met him, he's like, "How old are you?" I'm like 16. He's like, "Get the fuck out of my house." Ooh. So he said, but he was joking. He's like,
his house or his warehouse?
Well, it's Brooks Nielsen's. If you knew him, you'd understand that one. But yeah, and so yeah, that's the story of me gelling with those dudes.
That's awesome. And I mean, you guys got along real great, just chemistry wise, because you guys knew each other for so long and blah,
yeah.
blah.
I mean, we honestly, like, I remember the first couple tours we did, like,
yeah. How was that? Was it just?
I mean, it was fucking awesome. Oh my god, it was like I was, you know, living the dream, hanging out with my best friends, and we were super tight, and I was playing a new instrument, you know, which is always fun.
Just learning and progressing.
Yeah, I mean, playing bass, especially with the Growlers, it changed my my musicianship, you know, like the way I write songs and go about thinking about like music theory is completely changed. My scales are different, like my just like even like my obedience on stage when it comes to like the song like rhythm and like, you know, just grooving like at the proper time. I don't know, it's like discipline. It taught me a lot of discipline, but at the same time, like, repetition is good if it's a good riff, you know. And but yeah, so the first couple tours, I remember like every band we brought, they would break up like during the tour, and I was like, what is going on with these fucking bands? Why is every band like, but I mean, they were trying to keep up with us, and we were partying our fucking asses off at this time, like gnarly. This is when we were poor, which is awesome because you have no worries because you have no money, you know. Which people always say,
if you have nothing, you have nothing to lose, kind of a deal.
Exactly, and that's how it is, because when anything complicated that's come in my life has been about money, and it's been because of, you know, like people, you know, trying to like monetize, you know, an art, you know, and it's just fucking bullshit, and it's just it's the worst thing that's ever, like, you know, like, terrible.
Money creates greed and all that.
It's terrible. So back then when we were poor, we didn't have hotel rooms, we didn't have anywhere to stay.
Were you sleeping in the bus?
We were sleeping in the bus, but then we would try and stay at people's house because we had to shower, you know?
Yeah.
We literally couldn't afford a hotel room, believe it or not. We were so in debt when I joined the band. The band was so in debt, and we were, like, you know, just getting worked, and our like, we had a label that was our management, and just,
which was it Everloving, or was something else?
Yeah, it was I don't remember. It was I didn't know what was going on because I was only 19, and like I didn't even know we were in, like, I was like, what's debt? Like, what does that mean? How are you in debt? Like, what is that? Is that just how it is when you play music? And it pretty much is, though, if everyone's in debt to a record label. But like, fucking it was awesome though, because like, I was young, so I wanted to party my ass off. These dudes just did party their ass off, and like, there wasn't like any fights whatsoever, dude. No fighting, no bullshit.
Drama, whatever.
We never had that, though, to be honest with you. We always,
even being in like that,
we were always
knit,
like very like we like respected each other's boundaries, you know. Certain people would like to cross it, but it was funny because they're doing it on purpose, you know, and that's how, you know, it is with your buddies. That's why I got along with them so well, is because my group of friends growing up, like, especially like Taylor Bonin, who's working with the Growlers, and my buddy Will, who plays bass in the Abigails, I grew up with those guys since I was really little. And we talked so much shit to each other. Like, if you were to hear us talk on the phone, you would think I would hate the guy. Because it's just like, you know, you got to put your buddy down because he thinks he's a hot shot, you know? And it keeps your ego fucking way in balance, you know? And
makes you check yourself for sure.
Yeah,
when other
for
people
sure.
Are like,
and it makes you just like, you know, realize like, you know, you're a fucking dork, and that's okay, you know, because everyone is.
You brought Taylor to the Growlers.
Yeah, and so that's why he was able to come in so smoothly, is because those dudes were the same way. They just fucking fucked with each other to a certain point. It wasn't never anything that was really spiteful or like fucking vicious. It was always in good fun. It was seriously like, I've, you know, laughed my ass off every day, even if someone was getting pissed off. But it wasn't ever something like where someone was like legitimately, you know, it was like someone's getting, you know, they're getting their fucking chain pulled, and, you know, and so it was all in good humor, and it was cool though, but it was crazy because we'd see these other bands, they'd all be breaking up, and like, it was like, fuck, dude, like, why are these guys like, these bands are like on a tour, like, where there's, you know, back then, you know, if we had like 150 people at the venue we were playing, because we were playing small venues, that was fucking awesome, you know. And like, so like, it's not like we're playing huge shows, but like, there's people coming to your show in Tallahassee, there's people coming to your show in like Lawrence, Kansas, you know, and this is 2011, 2012, like, that's awesome. And like, yeah, I guess they were coming to see the Growlers, but like, they're getting exposed to that audience as well. And like, we were more poor than the fucking opening bands were getting paid more than we were, in the sense of like, on a personal level, they were probably taking home more cash because we were so in debt that it's like,
all this stuff has to go to this one thing.
Like, a lot of people would, you know, be like, oh, well, you know, this tour, it's like, it's hard for us because we're like in a, you know, a van, and like, fucking, you know, like, you guys are, like, you know, the main band. It's like, what does that mean? Like, because we ended up doing a tour after that for a long while after the bus broke down in a van. We did a fucking tour for 3 weeks in the South, only the South, in a fucking van that was carpeted on the inside and had 2 tiny windows in the back that were, like, fucking, you know, a size of, like, a little football. And
that was with you, Kyle.
That was literally when we didn't even have, me and Scott were selling merch for the band, and this is before Taylor, it was like one time we stopped in Arkansas, it was 108 degrees and 90% humidity. Me and Brooks ended up just walking around in our whitey tighties, and fucking the cops came because we walked in this mall, and we were just trying to fuck around, you know, because we were being little shit kids, and fucking we're never allowed at that mall ever again. I can tell you that. Little Rock City Mall, we are not, me and Brooks are banned for life from that place, but
mall security sucks.
Yeah. But like so, you know, so people, you know, it's just, oh, you know, like, it's, you don't know how rough it is or something. It's like, dude, we used to, on that tour too, since we were in that van, now we don't have a place to stay at all with, because we had no bus. Now we have to find someone at the show to stay at their house, and when you try to do that, those people, that's the only night they get to hang out with you, possibly in their life, but for sure in a long while, because when's the next time you're gonna be in, like, you know, Nashville? And so that one night they want to party their fucking asses off like they've never partied before with you. Now you have to do that every night with a new person, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts, because you are staying at their fucking house, you know? So I have a lot of funny experiences of, like, being in, you know, random fucking being at a lesbian, like, co-op, and there's a fucking goddamn rave happening at the co-op, and everyone's dressed up like kind of furries, and I'm on acid, and I did not know what the fuck I was walking into.
And were the other band members as well on acid, or was it just a solo trip?
It was me and I think like it was me and like Brooks and Scott, I think, or something, and fuck, dude, it was gnarly. I mean, my second show with the Growlers was a secret show that we did in San Francisco that was mimicking like what the Grateful Dead did with like Ken Kesey, the acid test.
Yeah.
We did
the
that.
Merry Pranksters. Yeah,
we did one of those in San Francisco.
Your second show.
My second show.
What was the first one? Was it down here?
It's in Vegas. On Valentine's Day.
Traveling all around. Was it at the what's that one place?
It wasn't at the bunk bar, if that's what you're talking about.
Oh, I did the bunk bar.
It was at the Double Down Saloon or something.
Oh, okay,
like that.
Okay.
And it was like,
and you're still 19.
I got a tattoo at it, actually. What's tattooed? I think I got that. No, I got this at Psych Fest. I got
that was also in Austin,
19.
right?
I was 19 and I took ecstasy for my first time, and I played my first Growler show on ecstasy.
And did it sound amazing to you? Like,
oh yeah, I was fucking vibing my ass off. I was on ecstasy.
Awesome.
First time. I had taken Molly a bunch, but I fucking loved ecstasy. So I ended up, the night that we did that acid test show, a week later, I took ecstasy 2 and acid that night.
So you were in Las Vegas first show, and then a week later.
Yeah, in San Francisco, we started a gnarly long ass West Coast tour with the Allah Laws.
Was it in the chapel up in San Francisco, or
no? This was at the place that used to do underground shows called the Engine Works. Like all my old bands used to play there, Tremors and. So that your first tour thing, that was in 2011. Yeah, 2011
with All Laws.
All the Laws.
That's
and then we went
awesome.
To South by Southwest
with them as well.
Yeah.
Were you guys in the same van, or
no? They were in their own car. We had the bus. And then after South by Southwest, Tremors joined, like my other band, joined the tour. Because we had actually had a tour planned, gnarly. My friend Tommy booked a fucking tour himself for like a month of like, had it all lined up, and I had to cancel because Brooks had asked me to do it, you know, and there was, what am I going to do, you know? I felt really bad about that, and I thought he was going to take it really, really bad, and he did at first, and understandably so. Like, that fucking sucks. I felt really bad, but I was like, let me try and get on a Growlers tour, you know, which sounds awesome, but back then, like, St. Louis, Growlers, 2011, there's probably like 15 people at the show. believe it or not. Now, I
Masculine
remember
capacity.
the last time I played Nashville with Growlers, there was like fucking 500 people there. I can't believe it. But and then where else did we fucking play? We played like fucking somewhere in Indiana, or like in Indiana. I can't remember. It was like Bloomington, which we didn't end up playing because it flooded the basement. Played a bunch, basically Middle America, and there was really no one there, and so that kind of I felt bad because I was like, oh yeah, we get to open at a Growlers like tour, and then it was like, oh my god, there's no one at these fucking shows. I was like, the first half there was, I swear to God, there was like, it was fucking packed, you know, because we played like Seattle and Portland.
That was with all of us as well.
Yeah.
With
well, no. After South by, they bailed. And, and Tremors.
And Tremors stepped in.
Yeah, and the Night Beats actually, we did a thing with them.
Oh, okay.
Tremors
cool.
and Night Beats. So it was fun. That was, oh my god, once that started, it was like, especially because there's no one at the show, so it was like, okay, just get as obliterated as you can, and let's see how this one goes. And we got fucking 86 from so many venues. You know, our buddies from the Night Beats is like up in, we had like a competition subconsciously, it was never talked about, but it was like, who can fuck up the green room the most. I wasn't really part of this because I'm the new guy at this point, so I'm like Mr. like drinking my water, but drinking a tall can like by myself, like no, I'm just kidding. Like I was like trying to like party, but I was like, I couldn't keep up at the time, you know, and I was like, holy shit, this dude's up in the corner, up in a corner of the green room, like somehow in the, he like perched himself like a gargoyle, just projectile vomiting like all over the goddamn place. And then I got chosen to be the designated driver of the bus that night, which was funny because actually the guys were really, really good about me since I was underage, like not letting me drink and drive. And I don't think I drank that night, obviously, because they were like, dude, if I had one fucking beer, they would not let me. I was like, no, I would be like, no. I'm like, I never get like blackout. Like, oh, I get fucking super, you know, whatever. But I whenever I solely drink, I never get like, I see people like just absolutely fucking incoherent, you know?
Yeah.
And so like, I've got like, you know, my wits about me if I'm, you know, unless I get to a certain point, if someone like fucking, you know, date rapes me or something. But like, and I remember, so I was driving, and the fucking guy at the venue that we got 86 from in Omaha, Nebraska, fucking threw a tall can at me while I'm sitting in the driver's seat of the bus. And I'm like, I didn't know where, I thought it was honestly like Brooks or something, because I was like, who's just threw this tall can at me? Was it full, or was it? It was a fucking full one. And then Kyle gets out and just like, what the fuck? And then he gets out and starts fucking punching the dude, and then we fucking... Oh, Kyle took him? Yeah, and I hopped out and started fucking helping him too. Awesome. Funny enough, though, on that drive to Des Moines, because our buddy Woody has a big house there, so we were driving there. I had my bass player from Tremor sitting in the front with me, and I had Traeger, the drummer of Night Beats. They're both sitting in the front, and I've known these two guys for a long time, like done so many tours with my old bands with them. Obviously I played in one of them with them, and then like the Night Beats, those were like my road buddies, literally. I've done so many tours with them at this point, and they're in the front with me, like super tight with them, and they're sitting in the front with me drinking. Louis falls asleep, bangs his head on the dashboard, like the kind of the bar, door extension thing, you know, to open the door, like that thing for buses. There's a bar that sits right next to the stairs that you can open the door, you know, like how the bus driver opens it. Yeah. And he fucking hits his fucking face on that. Then 5 minutes later, Traeger falls, hits his fucking face on it while sleeping, and it was so fun. They're both bleeding in the front with me. We guys all in the same bus? Well, when we would like book it to somewhere, I think that night, Max Royer, the drummer from who I play with in Cat Signs, I've known him, you know, longer than all these people that I've said I've known a long time. I've known him a long time. Played music with him since I was really little, and he's not a big drinker or partier, especially at this time. So he actually had to drive the Tremors van to Des Moines. Like maybe he had like one person with him. Everyone else piled in the bus. I think the Night Beats had broken down, and so they were coming with us because of that. But yeah, we had a bunch of people in the bus. And was this on the Brandy bus, or this was on? No, this is. Was this on Brandy? Who was it? Actually, I don't remember if it was on Brandy or not. Was it Brandy or was it
The name of the other.
The other one is there's Brandy. No, so it wasn't Brandy. It was one I lived in. Oh my god, what was the fucking?
The one that you were in during the fire too.
Yeah, like the.
Oh, that got turned to the California church.
Yeah, that one was called. My god, dude. What was the fucking name of that one?
It was a chick's name, right?
Yeah, they're always always chick's name. I think I want to say it was like Lucy or something like that.
Yeah, I heard that it was called one of them was called Lucy.
What the fuck was it? I can't remember, but yeah, it was. We always named our vehicles. We had one named Chody, and then we had one Diantina. That's where the name came from. We had one Chongler. That was the Tremors mobile, actually, but we had Chody was an awesome one. That was a great one. We had Shaniqua, I think was one, I believe.
Tight name.
Yeah. So we always named them. That's I can't believe I can't remember the name of that one though right now. It's gnarly. It's kind of like bugging me.
We got time. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not gonna think of it. You know that when you do that, your brain is literally not letting you remember.
Really?
So as soon as you stop, that's when if you just stop trying to think about it, it'll come to you.
Oh.
It's like a glitch in your brain. Like it's like it's almost like a. It's like it's like glitch essentially. It's like a fucking. It's like a. Oh shit, wait, this isn't supposed to happen right now, like you're not, and so you're not going to figure it out. Typically, I've kind of come recently to like actually be able to do it, but I guess it's something that I probably had more knowledge or like a memory of it more recently. But like something like that where you haven't thought of it in a long time, like yeah, you're not going to get it because your brain's not letting you.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a trip.
Turned into a TED Talk real quick.
Turned into a fucking Blue Man Group real quick. So yeah, that's pretty much my life story.
And then, so you played in Growlers from 2011 to 2016?
Yeah, 2016, 17, yeah.
What was the last show, or like one of the last shows
that you
played?
Last show was my birthday, actually. We played in like the middle of the fucking Rockies, in Colorado.
Was it on a tour, or just like a little like?
That was on a little like West Coast tour.
Okay.
It was the Chinese or the fucking City Club or something like that. I can't. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was City Club. I don't fucking know.
You were. Yeah. Did you play on City Club for the bass a little bit?
No. Or, I mean, there was a. I mean, no, not really. No. I had nothing to do with that one actually. I had kind of like we had gotten together and formulated things, but like I ended up going to like Bali and Nicaragua for a while, and then I went to Antigua for even longer. So I was kind of out for most of that year while that was going on. I just needed to take like a fucking vacation, a long one,
Could we talk about the change up, I guess you could say, about the Growlers regarding
what's up? What do you know?
What was the whole deal with the change in the lineup? Like what prompted that? What changed from like Scott and you not being in the band anymore and having the other guys substitute?
Well,
like what was the beginning of that? What was the origin?
I mean, it all started like kind of like once we finally got like all of our like affairs in order with the band. Like we finally we had like fired our old management, got rid of their record label,
which was
Ever Loving. We had left them, they fucking, but like I said, they fucking helped. The Growlers wouldn't be where they were if it weren't for them, But it just, you have to move on at a certain point, and that's like even with the Growlers. That's like kind of what the moral of this story will be. But like, once we got all of our affairs in order, it was like people started
being with like the
like just like because we didn't have our shit together one bit when it came to like the business side, believe it or not, you know, like we didn't know what was going on. Money was missing, and you know, bullshit like that. And that's it's not like anyone's fault. It was just like we didn't give a fuck. And then so it was like, so you know, we had, after we kind of cleaned house with that, you know, we had these new people that came in, and they were like, okay, well, you know, you guys should probably care about this stuff, and
because you're losing money and whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
XYZ,
you guys
all
just
this
like
stuff.
you don't even know what the fuck's going on, and
Yeah.
so we were like, okay, yeah, and so that kind of gave, I think, everyone like a different perspective on like what they want to accomplish with their lives. You know, how do they want to not be, you know, lackadaisical? You know, the business side, do they care about the business side? Do you care about the music? Like, are you trying to like be, you know, like go in this direction, or do you want to stay in this? You know, it's like everyone kind of had a different idea of like what we should be doing. You know, some people were. Was
this when Scott was still a part of it? Everyone was kind of trying to like.
Yeah, this is when Scott was still a part of it, and I think he just kind of like with him, it was just, you know, he like, so when that stuff, you know, he had like, so he during before, when we didn't have our shit together, Scott was the one that was like was the only one that was helping us have our shit together. He was doing the website. Like Matt would draw a lot of the merch, but Scott would actually do it in Photoshop. He would send it out to the merch company.
And produce
he would
it.
Fucking, you know, Scott was doing
the middleman between
shit.
creativity.
I mean, just like, you know, just, I mean, not just that, just anything that like didn't have to do with like really like actually like writing the music. Scott was like handling all that. And so once we like cleaned house, and like kind of allocated that to an actual person, I think, you know, Scott found himself with more like, you know, Scott is someone that he needs to be doing something at all times, or else he's like doesn't know what to fucking do. You know, he starts losing his mind. And so I think with this free time, like that he had, which he loved, don't get me wrong, I think that's when you start to think like, okay, well, we should do this and that, and you know, there's, you know, you have like, oh, well, like who makes you know, who is the one that makes the decision in the band, and now you kind of get that going, and there, like I said, there was no fighting or anything, but that's I think almost the problem, is because nothing was really talked about. There was never like, oh, let's meet up and talk. Like, it was just so like, everyone was so passive about it, but you know, unknowingly that like there was a kind of a plan in place, but like, since, you know, no one really knew what was going on, and so then the City Club thing, when that was about to happen, and they like wanted to go in a different direction, and I don't like, and they wanted to try some new things, and basically
they being Matt and Brooks.
I mean, yeah, like just and like management, whoever, because we're gonna record an album with Julian Casablancas now. We signed a record deal with Cold Records,
and Scott was a part of this too, right? Was like with the, like, he was on board with getting Julian involved.
He was. We had a meeting with him and everything, but then like, and so they want to do new things, and I think try new things, and I didn't know like what if Scott was like, there was no talking, and then all of a sudden, you know, Scott's not really like involved, and then I had just gone through a breakup, and I saw that Scott wasn't really and I'm like, you know, kind of like, what?
Why do you think that happened like that?
I don't know. I can't tell you. But then like, and then I'm like, well, you know, I get all like, well, you know, I'm trying to like, you know, be all like, well, you know, like, fuck that, you know, but it's, and like, it was, and I, like, I was just in a weird place, to be honest with you. I had just gone through a breakup. I was going through a weird time in my life, and I was kind of, you know, so, but then, so then I just was like, you know what, like, we came to terms where like, okay, you know what, I'm not gonna like you guys, this is like, you guys have kind of been involved in this, like with the record deal and all that. Like, you guys should, like, I don't want to like hinder the shit with like arguing or like not thinking the song's good enough or anything like so we they were like Brooks and Matt will go in the studio and they'll do their thing, and I'll play, I'll fucking back any song those guys do, because I know they write the best music I've ever heard, in modern fucking times. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go fucking get my shit together and like fucking go to these tropical places and do my thing.
Take a breather.
Yeah.
And then
like while I was out there, I did a lot of soul searching, and like I don't know what happened. I was gone, but all of a sudden Scott's not going to be in the band anymore. And
who told you about this? Like how'd you like get that news? Like, who told you, like, oh, Scott's not part of this anymore? And
well, I was never direction. Like a for sure thing until Scott told me like what had happened. Yeah. I wasn't around, like I said, so yeah. I think I actually even heard about it from like my mom or Taylor, and Taylor was kept in the dark with it all, and like I had an idea of like what the fuck is but I was out of the country, and then so with that happened with Scott, and I was just like, nah, I'm not in a place in my life where like I'm trying to like, play with some studio musicians, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I'm just saying that's not why I play music. I don't play music to play with random people.
Right. It's like your buddies. It's like
I play music to play like how it was when we started, like I said earlier, where it was like we were fucking a absolute brotherhood. Like there is not one thing I still to this day wouldn't do for any of those guys. But and that's what bummed me out too so much, is that we had lost the camaraderie, and there was nowhere where it went like wrong. It was like all of a sudden it was just like poof, it's gone. And it was like it's like, okay, like I guess out of sight, out of mind, if you're not, and like that sucks, but and so, but that's that's fucking life, dude. Things don't last forever. Things can always come back, obviously, but like you gotta just appreciate for like
what it was
like
when
that
was sick, what was happening.
You never know, what's gonna happen in the future, like. And that's what's funny about me leaving the band, was like that was even never like a thing. Like that was like, okay, I'm gonna come back in the band, and that's like a whole nother story that I'm not gonna get into. Me coming back after all this, but moral of the story is like the camaraderie was gone, and so but like I said, it was one of the greatest things that I've been a part of. It was like I know like that it was one of the coolest things that was around, and I'm proud to be able to like say that I played with those guys, and I still, like I said, I talk to all of them. Like I fucking talk to all of them about recording music with them, playing music with them. I send them music all the time. I hear their they
inputs on it, and
yeah, and so there's, dude, who knows? I could probably go in and write a Growlers record next month. It's or me and Matt can do a record, or me and Brooks, or me and Kyle, me and Scott. I just actually hit up Scott recently to do a record. So
Scott's amazing. If you're listening, Scott, what's up?
I'm like drum and bass wise. There's no one that I.
Your guys' connection, you could definitely hear it on the record. It's like those guys go together. Like that's
we were like fucking spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But and that's why. Honestly, I forgot about that. That was another thing. I was like, okay, well, Scott's not in it. Like, I probably won't be able to gel with this new guy. Not on like a hanging out like on a musical level. Like, it was so gnarly with Scott, where we were so
in sync. You guys were like, yeah.
It's like it's. I'm gonna always compare whoever is gonna be after him to that, and it's never gonna get there. And I'm like a perfectionist, so I'm not gonna be into it. I 100% was dragging my feet through anything that post Scott that I had to do with, which wasn't much, but that's why
it was enough to be like, okay.
It was like that's where both parties came to. Okay, dude, like we know it. Like you don't. I'm like, yeah, you don't really want it. Yeah, okay, like we'll just give it some time. Maybe we'll come back, maybe not.
Right.
And I kind of just been doing my own thing.
With cat signs.
Yeah.
Which is fucking sick. And
yeah.
you come out with the record, right?
Yeah, we're playing at the this new venue next week on June 6th.
Is it the one in LA or what? Or that has like a?
It's in Tustin, actually.
Oh, Tustin, okay.
It's owned. It's run by my buddy who does like he helped do like start Beach Goth and Burgerama and all that shit.
Does this guy have a name?
His name is Jeffrey Schumann.
Schumann.
All right. And he books at the Observatory, and he's starting his own venue in Tustin. And so.
Well, that's good. I think. So I think like all of those like little fucking places need something, but like to go to. I got another question for you. What's your take on the whole Beach Goth Observatory dilemma?
Dude, I like that all started when I was out of the country as well, and so
the shit just went south when you left, huh?
Dude, before I fucking left, my last like Growlers show, fucking Jeffrey was like the band's best friend, so I don't know what happened. So literally, like I mean I know, but like it's really he said she said bullshit, like it's I think that how should I put it? I think that everyone contributed to Beach Goth. I'm not gonna say like evenly or I'm just saying everyone had put their part in.
Everyone had a role in it.
Yeah,
creating it. Yeah, right.
Like I mean, straight up. I'll even toot my own horn. The first one, I probably booked more bands than fucking Brooks and Jeffrey.
The Beach Goth one.
They came to me asking every band to play.
Like Cosmonauts.
I played in half of them. Growlers, Tomorrow's Tulips, fucking Abigail's, and
was it Tremors?
Tremors, and then what was the other? Night Beats, I think, played. Sam Flax.
Oh yes. Did you play in Sam Flax or no? He was just
that's a couple. My buddy, my good buddy Jamie played with them.
What's up, Jamie?
Yeah, Jamie. He plays drums in Tomorrow's Tulips now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
cool.
So I mean, I'm just going to show you that like everyone had their part.
Yeah, in creating it to what it was.
I was at Kinko's stressing out, trying to print out these huge posters of like a penis with like a mustache and glasses on it, and like a chick on a bike with her tits out. And the people at Kinko's are like, "What the fuck are you doing?
They take too kindly.
Where are you going right now? Like a fucking weird ass like." Fucking dominatrix dungeon or something, but like
it's not a face,
and that's why I'm saying like it's just like I don't know like what's the deal with that, but I know that I can tell you that everyone worked their ass off to get it going, and it's a shame that it's come to like where you're paying lawyers like $1 million to fuck over the other dude who you used to be friends with, and that's like what the whole thing's come to. It's a shame that it's like fucking gotten so like fucking
conceited and
spiteful,
greedy,
and greedy, and like
right.
Just the whole thing. And you know what it is? It's because you get the fucking industry involved, and as soon as we fucking get this new, we clean house, we get these new people involved, they start spinning their fucking bullshit to oh yeah, this is your band, or you should kick out this dude, or he's not that good, because they're fucking cocksuckers, and they realize that they feel threatened because they know they're getting called out by the people that fucking really, deserve to enjoy the music, and these guys are just there to fucking make money off of it, pieces of shit, terrible people,
right,
terrible fucking people, like, and they that's what really ruined the band. Was fucking money with fucking like the industry. That's like it just ripped out everyone's fucking soul. Made me not want to fucking deal with that shit ever. So it's hard.
That was very insightful. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Clearing some of the air on that.
Yeah.
To cat signs.
Yeah, to cat signs.
Yeah, sick. Who do you have in your lineup right now? Who's playing what?
I have my brother playing guitar, my good buddy Albert playing bass, and my really good buddy Max playing drums. And these are all people that I like. Literally, were the biggest influences on me when I started playing music. As my brother, I got a guitar because my brother had a guitar when I was young. Well, my uncle gave him a guitar. I was pissed why I didn't get a guitar. Max, I first jammed with him when I was 14 years old, and he showed me what it means to really like fucking be good at an instrument, and not
Perfection.
not a fucking cocky, fucking little weasel piece of shit kid, but like just a chiller who's like fucking rips on everything. He's good at guitar, he's good on drums, he's good at fucking singing, it's awesome. And then Albert, that dude literally helped me write my first ever guitar solo. He wrote my first guitar solo in the middle of the street at 4:00 in the morning, Orange Avenue and 21st in Costa Mesa. We had our guitars out there, and he told me, and he showed me what a solo to do. And so basically I'm trying to say that this band is just straight up like family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we recorded an album that's going to be out very soon called Define and Mellow, that we recorded with Kyle Malarkey in Topanga.
Up in his place. Is that place rad? Because that place seems super
It's like a
cool.
little room like this place, but with even better equipment.
I want to get Kyle Malarkey on here one day.
He used to play with the Abigails.
Really?
He used to play in a band called Grand Elegance. And
Warren's old band before
like,
Abigail's.
One of the biggest influences on the Growlers, honestly. And Cat Signs, and we're going to be probably this summer really starting to get. I needed to take another break from things just to really digest the past couple years.
Mm-hmm.
I went away for the country, but then shit even hit the fan once I came back, even more so. So it was I tried to kind of power through it by playing a lot with Cat Signs, and it was just I'm burnt the fuck out, I am absolutely fucking toasted on human beings, straight up. I can't deal with fucking people right now. It's a shame, I'm totally chill now, but I was sick of everything. It was just I was having fun, but I was having fun writing the album, I'm trying to play these shows during it, and I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this right now? And so what I did was I basically just got my shit together and learned how to a new trade in music, and I basically fucking religiously studied electrical audio engineering and electrical circuitry and signals and and capacitors and fucking resistors and positive and negative polarity and just all that shit. And so recording basically and the real proper way to record it, with analog equipment and record in the digital domain as well. And that's what I spent my past year doing. I've been buying equipment and just getting that down. I've always wanted to do that, more so than anything. I always wanted to fucking have my own studio. The funnest part for me playing music was recording. There's nothing better. That's why I play music, is to record music. That's the only thing that's gonna survive when I die. It's the music,
Yeah.
Not the fucking shows.
Do you think that Scott Montoya had a part in giving you your love for figuring out how to produce and record and blah blah blah?
Completely. The guy's a fucking genius, and
the way that he did it, and
honestly, it's because how Scott he gets really into things, but he doesn't dive too deep because he can comprehend it really easily. And I'm okay, Scott can comprehend it so fucking quick, and he's not even he put in his work for interning at studios and stuff like that. Scott literally can do crazy shit, but it made me fascinated because I was like, oh, see how it's not that hard though, you know, even though it really is, but it's got made it look so easy. And so as soon as I got into it, I couldn't stop because I was like, fuck, this is fucking hard, and this is like the hardest subject I've ever studied, you know, through schools, and like, you know, going through different phases of like being really interested in like, you know, like psychology and, you know, physics, being in, you know, into like, you know, I've go through these things where I'll really like spend a year studying, like, you know, as stupid as it sounds, like legitimately, like, you know, trying to grasp like quantum physics and like also like calculus, just like stuff that you're like, wait, why do people think that it's like a genius or something? You know, all it is they went to school, someone regurgitated some shit out of a book, like, and now I have the internet, I can learn that shit on my own. And so, you know, I learn all, and, you know, I like, you know, even philosophy and religion. I don't know, I've always been into like learning, because I think that's the one thing that like you can take advantage of, having the you know,
the skills,
having the access of a fucking cell phone in your like pocket is like having an encyclopedia, a dictionary, a fucking almanac, if you even know what that is, like this fucking, and like, yeah, a map. You know, my first couple of tours, we had a big ass map. Before the tour, we would get the venue addresses, and we would go on MapQuest, and we would have to print out the directions from each, you know, ahead of time.
Are they doing Rand McNally, like a huge,
and so fucking, you know, like, well, we would bring a big ass map, but then to make sure we're going, okay, the 40, you don't know where the fuck the 40 is, you know, but on the map you can see, okay, yeah, it's gonna be further up because I think we're here. It's crazy because, like, I'm sure you probably, that doesn't even fucking register, right? Like, a big ass map.
It's all about phones now, yeah.
Yeah, like, can you imagine, like, having to go to, right now, Phoenix and try to find, you know, the Crystal Ballroom? You know?
Yeah, I mean,
how would you do it?
It's super difficult, yeah. I mean, just, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you know?
Just printing off stuff.
Luckily, I had the internet to be able to print that shit, you know?
Yeah.
But I used to do
before then too.
But before, like, I've really never had access to a printer for some reason. So honestly, I've done so many tours with just straight up a map. That's it. No phone. I didn't get an iPhone until like a phone, and that was the first time I had a phone with internet on it and a map. So that was in the beginning of 2013. So that's any tour I did prior to that. You know, if maybe someone else had one, but like, I did a lot of tours where there was
just map and just
a map and just your fucking compass. I have a really good, like, you know, like, compass inside of me. Like, I know where north is at all times. Sense of direction. Yeah, I have a really good. I remember like I have a photographic memory, so I remember shit really, like where to, you know, I turned, and because when I was a kid, I used to fucking go around Costa Mesa all over. Just I loved just exploring.
Mm-hmm.
And so that helped me for tour, you know, and like for I went across the country with my grandma when I was in 7th grade.
From where to where?
From California, from Costa Mesa, California, all the way to the Jersey Shore, everything in between. We hit the north on the way there, so, you know, Las Vegas, Salt Lake, Cheyenne, Wyoming, you know, down to Colorado, you know, through Kansas, up to Chicago, Detroit.
How long did that take?
My grandma fucking took me and my cousin, and we drove across.
What did your brother go to, or no?
No, it was just me, because we graduated like 6th grade, but I was in my 7th grade going into my 8th grade year, and it's because I turned a teenager, that's why. So she would do this. She's gonna try to make this a thing. I'm like, Grandma, you can't fucking. I have like 22 cousins. She tried to make this like a new thing. She's like, okay, and like the next year, like my cousin Chelsea, who came with me, her little sister, who's 1 year younger, my grandma just ended up flying her out. She's like, yeah, here you go. She just flew from this coast to that coast. She didn't drive them, but we fucking went for 2 months I was with my grandma.
2 months.
Funnest trip I've ever had in my life.
That's amazing.
It was fucking
So
awesome.
you got to see the country through that.
Oh yeah, that made me. I literally got. If I didn't go on that, I wouldn't know what a fucking tour is. I was already on tour when I was in 7th grade with my grandma. You know, she was. I love my grandma. She's the.
It's a good headliner.
Yeah, she's the best, and so she did that with me, and.
How old is she at the time?
Okay, my grandma's like 75, I think now.
So she's like early 60s, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so I remember she turned 60 when I was in 6th grade, so she was 61.
Okay.
Yeah. And
it to be that sharp, you know.
Yeah.
Like.
And I got to see like family because my family comes from the East Coast, from Philadelphia. I got to see like my mother's real dad, because my grandmother remarried back when my mom was only 10 years old, and so my grandfather that I call grandfather is really a step grandfather, but he was like a father figure, because my dad wasn't really in my life, because my dad lived in Germany. Close with my dad now.
He lived in Germany when you were a kid?
Yeah, my mom.
Were you born here?
I was born here, but actually, I might have been born in Germany. No, I was born in Van Nuys.
Okay.
But my mom was a model, and she was traveling all over Europe, and she met my dad. This is back when Germany was split into West Germany and East Germany.
Oh, okay.
My dad was actually in the West German army, because you have to join the army for like. That's how a lot of like. Even today, Israel, Norway,
Sweden,
Denmark, you have to do in Germany. You either have to fucking join like Red Cross, or you have to serve, in like the military.
Yeah.
For like some of it's 2 years, some of it's 4 years. My dad was in the military, and he met my mom, and he was stationed actually in Berlin, and then he lived in Munich though. My family comes from Munich and. Spain as well, and so they like fell in love, and then he tried to move out here, and like right away like Rodney King riots happened. I don't know if you know about that, but
yeah.
Fuck.
What was that like? That was 1992.
92, yeah. And so like I was like a couple years old when that's going down, and so he's trying to do, and like and then fucking fucking. O.J. Simpson trial and all this just like
did he do it?
Started happening,
Do you think he did it?
Oh fuck yeah, he did it.
All right.
He wrote a book that says like
if I did do it, this is how I'd do it.
He's a creepy guy,
crazy guy. You think he did it?
I met O.J. fucking Simpson.
No way.
At an L.A. Raiders game.
What?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was fucking 4 years old.
What?
This is like right at that same goddamn time.
That's crazy.
Met Magic Johnson too.
What? Same time?
L.A. Raiders.
What the?
Everyone went to LA Raiders games back in the day.
Raider Nation, ride or die.
Yeah. Yeah, this is LA Raiders too. That's fucking funny. But
that's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't remember that. I remember fucking Magic Johnson, because this was a big deal, because I had like, even at how young I was, like he had just come out that he had AIDS.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or HIV, I should say. But yeah, I remember it was actually the fucking Raiders versus the Packers. It was Brett Favre Packers.
Oh, okay, all right.
And this is the Raiders. Was like Rich Gannon, I think, was the QB. But I was a 49ers fan. This is when the 49ers were just coming off of the dynasty with Joe Montana. They had switched over to Steve Young. They were still winning Super Bowls, and it was like Cowboys versus Niners. My grandma is a Cowboys fan, and I got into the 49ers because my grandma's neighbor, who would like, I don't know why, but I would hang out with this old guy all the time. His name was Paul, and he was the shit. He golfed, and like he was like, you know what, who you're gonna like, because I like the Raiders because it's LA. He's like, you're gonna like the 49ers because your grandma likes the Cowboys and they're the rivals. And he got me a Joe Montana jersey.
Was it the same grandma that took you?
Yeah, this is the same grandma. And so I'm still to this day a huge 49ers fan.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, Paul. That guy's probably dead, to be honest with you, and that's a bummer to think about. But he was a fucking awesome dude. Good guy. I should ask my grandma if that guy's still alive. He built me I used to have a horse rocking thing.
Yeah, the little, yeah.
And like I have so many memories on that thing. I can remember life, like I swear to God, I like to say it's like when I was 3, but I'm pretty sure it was like when I was like fucking 1, because I can like barely walk in the memory.
Right.
But I'm like, no, there's no way I remember shit from when I was 1. No fucking way. But like I was just watching this, speaking of like how psychology, how I'm into that. I just watched this video of this fucking, oh my God, it's terrible. I don't recommend you to watch it, not because it's like, well, it is kind of creepy, but it's just terrible what happened to this little girl, and she's like a psychopath, like.
Oh, the one who killed like her mom or something like that.
Well,
right?
No, there's shit like that. No, this girl, like this is just a video from a session with this girl. These parents adopted 2 brothers and sisters. They didn't really know the history, like what they were just really wanted to adopt kids.
Right.
They get this, and she's only fucking not even 1 or something like that, and a couple months go by and shit starts kind of getting, like she starts getting kind of aggressive, and then she starts like stabbing her brother with a pen and killing animals. Stabbing
at 1 or
she's like I think like 4 now at this point, 4 maybe 5, and she's like molesting her brother.
Ooh.
And then like squeezing his his fucking no-nos and fucking it's not, and it's anyway, so and it's this video, and she's like talking, and the shrink is like, she's telling him all this, and he's trying to be like, why do you do that? And she's like, because like I don't like people and I want to be alone, and like it's just so sad. And they ended up finding out, like, she remembers, she like drew this picture when she was 1 year old. She like her dad was molesting her, and like and so the fact that like she can remember that at 1, obviously that's a really tragic memory. My first memory I have is of like a slight, nothing compared to her, but my uncle was going to take us out to get ice cream, me and my 2 older brothers, but he left me at the fucking house for some reason, my grandma's house. I used to live in my grandma's house, and I remember walking around my grandma's house with no one there, like, where is everyone? Like, and I remember like waddling around and then being like, what the I hated being alone if my mom went to go in the other room down the hallway, and like once we moved into an apartment to do laundry, I'd start crying because I thought abandonment for some reason as a child. To me, I fucking couldn't. Well, at a young age, as soon enough, I like probably by the time I got to like 7, I wanted to be alone all the time. It was really strange. It just flipped all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's a major switch.
Yeah, but when I was younger, like, I'm talking about, like, as a fucking, I'm a baby at this point pretty much still, I'm barely walking. I just, like, if I was left alone at the house, I'm like, I'm abandoned. Like, fuck, my uncle left me. Like, and it's just, I remember, like, crying, and then I somehow, like, picked up the phone, and my grandma used to have it for my grandma's so about, like, oh, emergency, there's a water, grab the emergency food, and like.
Where was she during the fire? She could have really helped out.
That's true. No, she would have fucking, if the fire happened, it wouldn't even happen because she would have had a smoke alarm that would have like notified the fucking cops already and shit. But I dialed my grandma and my mom with speed dial because she used to have a pad right there that said 6. They'll call me, grandma. Right. And I was like, Grandma.
It's a landline, right?
Yeah. I'm like, Uncle Eddie left me. She's like, what? Like, I called my mom. She fucking freaked out. And like, but yeah, anyways, that's like my first memory. And I'm pretty sure like I was like fucking 1.5 or 2. Whoa. I remember waddling around, barely walking. And so I remember sitting on that rocking chair that the guy Paul made me at like 2. I used to ride the dog like a pony. Like, legit, it used to carry me around. Like, Sterling used to ride him all over the house. He loved me. He was, like, my best friend. And I used to get on him. I was like, I have my own fucking lion. And I just roam around. My grandma, like, I was lucky to when I was living with my grandma, me, my mom, and my brothers, to where there's a lot of neighborhood kids. We would play hockey and a bunch of sports. My grandma was really into, like, community. She was, and that's, like, where, like, the one I've seen from like religion, and it, like, my grandma's very religious, like she's a Christian, and like she was all into like helping out like the community, you know, and like and doing anything she could for her family, for her pastor. She took in her pastor's fucking family, you know, to everyone's fucking, you know, like, what the fuck, Grandma? Like, why you got this family in here? She's like, that's the pastor, like, you know.
Were you living there at the time as well?
No, this is like way later on.
Okay, gotcha.
Like, but like I was always going to my grandma's house. Even when I moved like an hour away, I would take the train. You know, even at 5th grade, I would take the train.
Was she living in Costa Mesa?
She was living in the valley north, like by like Magic Mountain.
Okay.
And
at how old were you? You say 7?
Well, I moved out from her house when I was like 6. Mm-hmm. And so, like, when I lived with her, my grandpa built me a sandbox. They added a rec room to the house, so they built another room onto the house for me. It was my playroom. I had a bunch of cousins, but like I said, I lived there. Me and my brothers, but my brothers were older, so like this rec room was a fucking like a kid's room with, you know, and they would go to school, and it's funny because now I think about it, this is how young I was because I didn't have school. I had like preschool, but that was like
half the day or whatever.
Whenever I even wanted to go, I think, because like it's preschool, you know. Like I don't think my family is very like old fashioned in the sense of like, if you don't want to go to school, don't go. You know, that's how it is. Like, you know, back in the 60s and 70s, it was like, okay, you don't go, you're gonna, you know, fuck your life up. But what am I gonna do? You know? Yeah. Like, and so it gives you the option to really take your, you know. But this is when I was young, so like they're like, you know, I want to watch Winnie the Pooh and stay home. I used to do Richard Simmons, like aerobics with my grandma, and that was like, you know, I used to do that shit every day with my grandma. Richard Simmons, if you know who that is.
Yeah.
So, it was like.
Were these tapes? Or was it on TV?
It was tapes actually. Okay. Yeah, it was tapes. But.
And she was getting into it.
Yeah, and this is where though I saw like the first time I saw a band though at a young age. I went to like a church, my grandma's church, like that was having some like clubhouse kids thing. Oh yeah, side note, my grandpa built me a little shed clubhouse, like essentially my own little house. Not even talking about that rec room. I had like a little fucking, you know, little shed that was like built like a house.
Was this all in the place that she moved? But she moved to up. This is up there. Okay. And because I was born in Van Nuys, the Valley, so I was born up there. I lived up there and moved to Costa Mesa in 1999. So when I was 9 years old, so when I was really young, like I had, you know, like all this shit to do by myself though, you know, because I'm like, even though I had a lot of cousins, like I said, my brothers were at school and my cousins were more so in LA, like more, you know, more. And so I was out there kind of just like, I would just have my own like fantasy worlds of like doing whatever the fuck I wanted to by myself. But then like I had my mom around, I had like my grandma, my grandpa, the dog, you know, so I had to like make do with what I could with like people that were always at a different like level than me, you know. And I remember though going and seeing this band and like just I fucking was like, what the fuck is that? The drums, for some reason I remember specifically at first, I was like, oh my god, what are those things? And my grandma took me to Universal City Walk, me and my brothers and a couple of my cousins, and used to have this like photo you could take. That was like a big thing in the 90s. Like, you take a photo and we're gonna like, not, it was before Photoshop, but like, we're gonna put you in this thing that's like looks like you're doing this crazy shit. And so just backdrops, huh?
And so they was like, me and my brothers and my couple cousins were in this band, and like my grandma was like fucking banging on the thing like, turn that racket down, and it was like Wayne's World vibe. It was like set off of Wayne's World. And I remember that's when I was like, whoa, I want to play. And so my grandma used to run the church, like she was like the accountant for her church, the one that she took the pastor and all this stuff. She would bring me to the church because she would work pretty much no one's at the church on the weekday, you know?
Right.
No one. Maybe the pastor every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
She let me she had the guy bring the drums up into one of the like worship rooms, and I used to just bang on those fucking things all day long. And it was I can't believe my grandma put up with that shit. All day long I just bang on the fucking drums. Do do do. And like I was like, how do you play these things? Like, fuck. What am I supposed to do? And then I saw Detroit Rock City, and I was like, saw Kiss, and that just was like, oh my god.
Is that the one with Mark Wahlberg in it?
No, Detroit Rock City is. I think you're thinking of the P.T. Anderson film.
Yeah, what is that one
The
called?
one with Dirk Diggler. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm fucking forgetting it right now. The porn star one.
No, not. I was thinking about Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights, right?
No, there was some other one. I forget. I think
No, the one Detroit Rock City is with like a bunch of kind of like more independent film actors, but it's about these kids who are like really into Kiss. They play in like a Kiss cover band. They like all Kiss. It's this journey, like Bill and Ted's, Excellent Adventure, Wayne's World, like journey to fucking get to the Kiss concert and all this shit that happens on the way.
Okay.
Stuff that I hadn't watched it since I was little, like where they feed the priest mushrooms. I didn't know what the fuck that meant when I was in third grade, or I was in second grade when I saw it. My mom had a black box, so we could watch anything we fucking wanted. I don't know if you know what. Oh, you probably don't know what a black box is.
Is that it's under the cable, right? Like
it's a cable box that was rigged up to where you got every single channel that came to you. And so I saw Detroit Rock City. Kiss was like these guys in fucking makeup.
Right.
What the fuck? Holy shit. And then the guitar, Ace Frehley on the guitar. His guitar had smoke coming out of it. I was like, my brother Michael had just gotten a guitar from my uncle. I was like, that's what I fucking want to do. And so my mom got me a fucking guitar the next Christmas, and the rest is history. I've been playing guitar ever since. 1999.
1999?
Yep.
To forever.
Well, that's my life story.
We got deep on this.
We got so deep.
This is amazing. Can we do another episode sometime?
Of course.
All right. Well, I think that's it, right?
That's over and out, dude, for sure.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for doing this, man.
Of course.
And miking it up with the 4 mics.
Mic it.
Is there anything else you want to say or no?
No.
That's it. You said it all.
Yeah.
All the words.
That's it.
All right.
June 6th, I'm playing a show. I don't even know what the venue's called, but just be there.
June 6th. CAD signs.
Yep.
This will be up tomorrow.
Here we go.